Welcome. You're tuning into Calligraphy Unscripted. I'm Christy Tony, a calligraphy expert with 16 years of experience. And in this podcast, you can expect storytelling, actionable tips, and mindset hacks to help you along in this discipline. So let's just jump right in and ink up. Welcome back to the Calligraphy Unscripted podcast. I'm your host, Christy Tony, and I'm back with another conversation that I think we should be having. I'm wondering out loud how many of you out there have dipped your toe into AI technology. AI means artificial intelligence. Early reports stated that only 14% of the population has actually tried to use this tech so far, but more recent research has set that number to about 27%. I personally think it's a real game changer, and I'm going to tell you a few ways we can use it to help generate content and grow our businesses. So, artificial intelligence is intelligence displayed by a machine or a computer. So, this machine has been fed information about countless disciplines in order to answer questions regarding problem solving, learning, strategy, and it's continuously evolving. It's fast developing and it's also a little scary. It's kind of like those movies that you watch where the robots start to become too smart for their own good, and they become smarter than the human beings that are actually supposed to be controlling the technology. There have been news reports of AI being used to record music to mimic some of our favorite artists. There have been things called deep fakes videos with robotic characters resembling politicians and celebs saying things that they've never said. Even the founder of ChatGPT is urging Congress to regulate its use. But even with all of these things going on, I don't think that it's a reason for us to stay away from this technology. I do think that we should pursue this technology just to see how it can help us. Now, even though it's controversial, there are some things that I think we can do with this tech right now that'll make our lives easier. You can do everything from having AI generate you a monthly meal plan tailored to your personal diet and preferences, to a detailed morning routine, to even acting as your personal trainer, if that's your thing. Yeah, it's pretty unbelievable. And you can have AI generate content for you in different ways. And this is also controversial because there's been talk that AI is going to eliminate some jobs because they're only going to have things that we used to have editors and writers do. We're going to have AI do it now. So, and that is a concern. But, I personally love to write, and I'm not a huge fan of editing large documents. So, I don't ask ChatGPT to generate pages of copy for me, but I do ask it for outlines, lists, ideas, um, possible topics. It's just wonderful to not have to begin with an empty screen. An empty screen can be intimidating, and you can also procrastinate about starting if you know that you don't have a starting point at least. So I just like to have something to work with. I like something to be able to expound upon. Now, if writing is not your jam, then I think you should just go for it in terms of asking AI to write copy for you. However, I would implore you to dig into your writing prompt a little deeper. Instead of just saying, please write me 300 words about blah, 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 blah. Your prompt should include a writing sample from you, maybe a chunk of your blog, You want to make sure that whatever is being generated is being stated in your voice, your tone. Okay, so before they even generate the information, they should have evidence of your tone so that they can incorporate that into what they're giving back to you. Now, finally, the tech is evolving so rapidly that there are also a number of AI tools outside of ChatGPT that will provide you with an even more narrow focus, like generating essays, creating artwork from text, executing sales emails. I'm kind of overwhelmed by the other AI tools and haven't really dug into them personally myself. I mean, I've skimmed them, but I just stick with ChatGPT, which is kind of a catch-all where you can pretty much do everything that I've already mentioned except using a text prompt to give you something drawn back. Those are special AI tools, but for the most part, ChatGPT can give you what you need. Now, I'm going to give you some examples of how ChatGPT can help you with your calligraphy business. I'm going to give you two prompts. Okay, one is for scaling your business. Okay, so this is what you would actually enter into the ChatGPT prompt as a prompt. Acting as a business strategist, can you create a detailed plan for scaling a calligraphy business over the next 5 years? And then another, would be under the umbrella of marketing and branding. Acting as a marketing strategist, can you outline a comprehensive marketing plan for a calligraphy business starting from scratch? Now, let's look at these prompts and the anatomy of these prompts. I always, without fail, as a best practice, will tell ChatGPT who to act as. Acting as a digital marketer, acting as a pro calligrapher, acting as a branding manager, etc. I mean, I also make sure I provide as much information as I can in addition to these simple prompts, such as these, because the more details you feed the technology, the more value you will get back in return. So if you keep your prompt too generic, you will get back generic info that you can't use. Now, another absolute game changer is ChatGPT version 4, which has the capacity to browse the internet. Now, they were doing this a little bit before with plugins, but now it's in beta where they are actually able to browse the internet. Now, with this advancement, if you'd like for AI to do an overview of your website, or for an example, review an Etsy listing, then it can do that. Now, before they had this available, I didn't know how to use the plugin. I tried, but the 3.5 version, they would tell you as an AI model, I do not have access to the internet. They do not say that anymore. You will actually see them browsing the internet before they actually give you an answer back to your prompt or generating information for your prompt. So let's go back to one of the prompts I mentioned, and I'll show you how I would personalize it in order to get the most valuable feedback. So I put a little meat on these bones. Okay, so let's go back to the original prompt for scaling your business. Acting as a business strategist, can you create a detailed plan for scaling a calligraphy business over the next 5 years? Now, this is how I would add to that, just to get a little bit more value. Acting as a business strategist, can you create a detailed plan for scaling my calligraphy business over the next 5 years? Here is my website. Give them the website address. My goals over the next 5 years are to provide problem-solving resources to up-and-coming calligraphers on a full-time basis, and I'd also like to have my first book authored in that time span. I'd like for the information to be broken down by year with step-by-step instructions as well as suggestions of how I may achieve my goal even earlier. Please ask me additional questions in order to provide me with the best response. Okay, now that was a ton. That was a ton of information. Let's unpack that. But you see the difference. Okay, so it's not just a simple sentence, but you need to tailor the request along with providing web references to your business and also additional context. I'm going to give you my website and I'm going to tell you exactly what my goals are. Now, the question at the end also gives the technology a chance to ask me for additional information and clarity. And trust me, when you do ask them, when you do put that at the end of your prompt, please ask me questions, they will take advantage of that. You'll get a list of questions that they want to know more about. They want to know more about your business or more about what you're trying to accomplish so that they can give you the best response. So think of it again as a conversation. So now I'm leaving a free cheat sheet on my Pinsite page. That's the link in my Instagram bio, um, as well as in the show notes that you can grab that will go over the best practices that I've found so far that will help you to, one, get up to speed on this tech, and two, get the most accurate information back from your prompts. Now, if you feel like you're ready for more, I have a paid product that has over 80 prompts amortized over 8 separate categories. Now, just remember with this AI technology, it's still fast developing and your conversations with AI are ongoing. I mean, I've had conversations back and forth with AI that have lasted pages just to try to get as much information as I can. Now, remember, you have the ability to stop the answer from being generated. You can stop them in the middle of generating a response if you can see that the response is not quite what you were looking for. You take that opportunity to say, oh, wait a minute, let me clarify. I need this, this, and this. They'll apologize and say, oh, okay, thank you for the clarity. And then they'll go on with generating ideas, outlines, verbiage, whatever you've asked them for. So don't forget, you can always stop them and give them clarity. Okay, so that's it for today's episode. If you're not already subscribed to this show, make sure you hit the little plus button in Apple Podcasts or follow in Spotify, and it'll just mean that you'll get each new episode straight to your podcast app every Monday. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll catch you next time. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I appreciate you listening. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Check out some of my problem-solving content in the show notes, and I'd love to connect with you on socials. I can be found on Patreon, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube under Calligraphy by CT. Until next time.